Hey everybody, my name is Cody Foster. I'm our Rochester area director with FCA, and this is my story because I am FCA. I grew up in a single parent home. We went to church pretty much every Sunday, and I started to fall in love with football when I was in middle school. It's when I first went onto the practice field, put on the pads, put on the helmet, and I just fell in love with it. I was normally an angry kid, so it was my ability to get out all that aggression. I could hit a kid and not get in trouble, and I just fell in love. The smells, the feelings, the emotions of a weekend game, the practice, all of the hard work. And so it was really in middle school when I started to put everything of who I was into football. Now, I wasn't a bad kid in high school, but I definitely loved attention. I sought attention in every avenue that you could think of in a high school dynamic. I pursued as many relationships with girls as I could possibly get. I partied on the weekends. I always loved being the center of attention, making kids laugh in class, goofing off, going to the principal's office, getting in trouble. I never thought there was bad attention. Just like how they always say there's no such thing as bad press, I thought there was no such thing as bad attention. And so if I would get in trouble, if I'd get a slap on the back saying good work, it was all valuable to me because I just wanted people to like me. I was lost. I didn't know who my dad was until I was about 13 years old, and I was fighting for attention. I was fighting for significance. And it wasn't until my sophomore year of high school when I found out that my father figure, the man who raised me when I was a little boy, had suddenly passed away. And it wrecked me. I went into a deep, dark spiral of alcohol and drugs and relationships, just searching for something to either numb myself or significance or value. And it was in those moments when I hit my lowest low, I started looking at my life and trying to figure out, is there something more? I was great at football. I loved being the center of attention of parties, but every time I would wake up from those instant gratification moments, I would feel a little bit more empty inside. There was something growing inside me, this God-sized hole that I couldn't fill no matter what I tried to fill it with. While I was searching to fill this God-sized hole, I had a youth leader that I got to become really good friends with, and his name was Jason. Jason invited me to go to summer camp with our youth group, and a lot of kids from our high school were going, so I thought, hey, sounds like a great time. I'm not doing anything else this summer, and let's go. Let's give it a try. And it was at this youth camp that I really started to discover for the first time who God really is. You see, when I grew up in church, God seemed so distant. It was all these adults and parents and older people sitting around singing these old songs, and I just felt like God wasn't relevant to me. I felt like God was so far away from me. And it was at youth camp where Jason really took me by the arm and started to explain God in such a relational way. He talked of his son Jesus in a way that Jesus came down and Jesus died for me. And I couldn't comprehend and wrap my head around it, even though I had heard it in church so many times. And it was there at that camp where Jason and I had a really honest conversation. We were in a pair of rocking chairs overlooking a lake, and we talked about life, family, girls, everything that I was going through at the time. And Jason looked me in the eyes, and he knew my reputation of being a partier and seeking out bad attention. And Jason looked me in the eyes, and he was the only one that had ever been honest with me. And he said, Cody, you have a decision to make. You can either end up in prison by the time you're 18, or you can try to discover what a relationship with Jesus looks like for your life. It was in that moment where I really heard God speak to me. Not audibly, but I felt it. I felt this honesty, this truth that all of the friends that I had been around hadn't really been honest with me. And it was in that moment that I decided, you know what, I think I do need to really understand who Jesus is. And so over the course of my high school career, I made a decision. I'm going to follow Jesus. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how to do it. And I don't really know if it's the right decision, but right now it's the best decision I know to make. And so as I looked into other world religions and started to get more curious, and I let my curiosity really drive me, I started reading the Bible and attending more youth group events, and really started to pray more and have this authentic relationship with God. And after I made my decision, I came to understand God isn't a set of rules. God is a relationship, that he calls us to believe in Jesus and have this relationship that works just like a best friend relationship, that we walk hand in hand, we have conversations, we invite Jesus into every aspect of our life. And so as I started to do that, my life slowly started to change. My desire to go to parties and be the center of attention started to dwindle away, and I started to feel this joy without having to make people laugh and be the center of attention. And so as I graduated high school, I had the opportunity to go and play college football. And I loved the opportunity. I went to play at St. John Fisher College, and I played 4 years there. And that's where God really captivated me and took what I was gifted with athletically and really started to reveal the purposes that he had planned for me. You see, and it was in those moments where I wasn't just following Jesus, but I was allowing Jesus to lead every step of my life. And it was there at college that I really started to realize how much God gifts me and gifts us uniquely. He's given us time and talents and treasures to invest in him and invest in purposes beyond ourselves. And so it was in college, through playing football and being with other people, that I started to realize, God, you provided me with so much joy, so much hope and fulfillment. I want to pass those to other people. And so through that, I started to get into ministry. I joined ministry staff with an organization called Young Life. Did that for a couple of years, and then I was on staff with a local church here in Rochester for a couple of years, and I felt this calling that God was asking me to do more, be more, that he has uniquely gifted me with passions to build relationships with coaches and athletes and create a space where athletes can understand that who they are on Sunday at church doesn't have to be different than who they are on the field. And so that's how I became a part of FCA. I became a part of FCA because I wanted my life to be used for purposes greater than myself, to see the world transformed by Jesus Christ, just like he transformed my life all those years ago when I was 16, sitting in a rocking chair overlooking a lake. That I didn't know if it was the right decision, but it was the best decision I could have made, and I wouldn't change it for the world looking back today. And so that's why I became a part of FCA and why I love FCA and my opportunity to be on staff. Because we dream and I envision the world being transformed by Jesus Christ through the influence of coaches and athletes just like you and me. So I'd ask you, as you hear my story, will you come and be a part of FCA and join our family, not just in FCA, but under the name of Jesus Christ?